The transfer portal is closed, and Kirby Moore absolutely dominated it. There could be some more ads, but we'll get to that in a minute. But first, new intro.
If you're interested in being great, you better look hard into Washington State. You want to be great? Go to Washington State, baby.
Welcome back to Up West Sports. What a fun little couple of weeks that was with the transfer portal, with learning so much about the NIL, with just the madhouse of everything that was happening. Before we dive in any further, I wanted to introduce a new beer. This is actually one of my favorite import beers. It's called Hogarden. Would you rather have a Hogarden or a garden of hose? Sorry, I'll stop with the jokes. No misogyny here. That was just a joke. But we're going to tap this bad boy, and here we go. Yep, good as always. But we are joined in with Austin Hayes today. And Austin, how are we doing today, my man?
Better than I deserve, to say the least. How's Gavin?
Honestly, doing great. And wanted to give a PSA. We did mention it on most of our platforms. But, we're coming up on being monetized, and it's a huge milestone for us. But after learning more about what the monetization is for this first step, it's asking more of you, of the viewer, and it's asking for subscriptions and everything along those lines. It goes against kind of what we want and what we stand for. We want to make our content free for the viewer. So we're deciding to go against that. Once we reach the next step, then we can kind of go into another route, and maybe down the road we'll introduce merchandise and stuff like that where we can buy. But for the most part, we want our content to be free, and we want to give that to you for free. With that being said, we do have subscriptions that we pay for. We do have equipment, obviously the mic, all this stuff that we're trying to pay for. If you have $1 or $2, think of it as a tip. And feel free to donate. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Our stuff's going to stay free. We're not going off the air. We're not going anywhere. But if you can, please, jump over to our Venmo. It would be greatly appreciated. And again, if you don't feel bad. Don't worry about it. It's just at Up West Sports on Venmo. But I digress. That's enough begging for your money. We want to actually talk about some football here. Austin, we have an incredible, we talked a little bit about how the Cougs did this transfer portal, and we got Caden Pinnock, who we're super excited about, and with Owen Eshelman and Julian Duggar, we know there's going to be a madhouse at quarterback. We know it's going to be a brawl. A little hint on the show's name today, but we know there's going to be a brawl at quarterback. But this defensive line, my goodness. We have it's like watching hockey. If you pay attention to hockey, they run 4 lines on forwards, and we are 4 lines deep on this defense. So wanted to pop it over to Austin and your thoughts on this defense. We're going to go ahead and share the screen. Austin got this little ditty for us. So Austin, break it down, my man.
So I went through today and I was looking at who we lost. As we've all kind of talked, we knew who we were going to lose, but I don't think that we were actually really able to kind of see that production that we did lose. If we kind of take a peek there at the top, players in red obviously are the ones that we lost. And then ironically enough, the red was the leader at each spot. And the first person who led in every category was Bobby Terrell. And we kind of knew that we were going to lose big pieces, as well as the likelihood of losing Bobby. But what I went through and did is I took the transfer grade, because they all got graded, and I used 24/7. So if there's anyone that's like, oh no, it's higher than that, it's lower than that, it's 24/7. Yell at them. Don't yell at me. I'm just using what I got. With that production, we kind of look, we had 17 and a half total sacks from those 10 transfer outs this season. 124 yards that they took away from the quarterback, and total sack yards was 65 solos, 3 forced fumbles, And there's an interception section here, and you'll understand why I put the interception section in there, but not a single defensive lineman had an interception section. So when we kind of look at the average transfer grade out, it was an 84-1. And then really the majority that we lost in the portal were the 6 defensive tackles, 4 edge rushers. So as we know, without even looking at the rest of the names, we know we made that back tenfold. In total, we had 13 players on that defensive line last year in total. And we increased that number by 6. We're at 19 currently, which is, I think, a huge improvement overall number-wise, but really talent-wise. You get some big-name guys coming in from bigger schools that had a lower amount of playing time, but were so productive and so good coming out of high school. And I've got information on every single one of them. So as we look at the returning players, there were 3 players that stood out transfer recruit grade wise. And that's kind of why I put that there at the bottom, or at the, that third bar column in by the players. We had Malachi Rice, who came in. I want to say he was class of 23.
Yeah, big fan.
87 overall recruit grade. Hasn't recorded any stats, but I mean, that guy at his age, I think, is going to be the one that's got, if not the most coming into, or at least the most, what's the word I'm looking for?
He's got a lot of juice.
A lot of juice coming.
A lot of juice. So, I mean, between him and Elijah Tucker, I like both. I like both of these guys. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Malachi Rice, it's absolutely worth mentioning how good that kid is.
Oh man, yeah, and he's going to get an opportunity to compete. And I think, I can't remember who said it last time, but actually, I think you might have just said it. But it's we're going to see a hockey rotation.
Yes,
we're going to come in with B Street brawlers, and they're going to bludgeon offensive linemen, and they're going to be able to transfer, move
as a group. Austin came up with a handful of really good names, and so did the rest of our guys, and we all kind of what we liked. We're donning them the B Street ballers, or some ballers. They're the ballers too. B Street brawlers, which is the thumbnail of this video and everything. So let us know your thoughts on that. This defensive line is just so stacked, and we're still working through it. But let us know your thoughts on B Street brawlers. If you have another better name, we want to hear it too.
As we kind of look at the other two, really, Caden Beatty, he doesn't need any introduction. He's going to be a tank. I would imagine he's starting defensive tackle. It doesn't matter who's coming in and out of there. And then I think we're going to see a lot of progression with the kid from Tumwater, Mr. Elijah Tucker. And then, just because I have to, I want to talk about Luke Webb just for a second with that 86 transfer or recruit grade. Luke, if you ever see this, I told you I got it. I got it.
There we go.
That's Saturday wear right there.
Luke Webb. And what's funny is I coached baseball for many years, and I'm living here down in Arizona. And I coached at a post grad for 2 years, from 2021 to 2023. And the first year that I coached, we actually had a Luke Webb. He didn't go by Lucas. Luke Webb was his name. I thought it was hilarious. And the kid's also just a massive individual. I think he's 6'1", 260, like just an absolute animal. He played defensive line, offensive line. So I thought it was funny when we found this young man, and he came to us from I believe it was Camas High School.
Yep. Yeah. He was at Camas. I want to say he did, and I could be wrong, but I know it was for certain his senior year at Camas. And then I know that he was in California for most of his adolescence.
Okay. Right on. But these are just the returners. My goodness, do we have some more B Street brawlers to talk about here? Anybody else that sticks out from here that, obviously we have every last one of these names is going to be good. I also like J.R. Laquona, or Fernando Laquona. I think he's going to be a potential standout this upcoming year as well. No matter what line they put him on, Elijah Tucker, Malachi Rice and Ben Beatty, Caden Beatty. I mean, this team is so stacked just with this, not stacked, but very well put together with who we have coming back. But is there anybody else that sticks out that you want to talk about?
I think you really got the last one that I really wanted to bring up was JR. You get a guy that is originally a Jimmy Rogers guy to buy in and stay in the Palouse. Fan favorite, I'm going to say, by 90% of Cougs just off that aspect alone. But I think from there, if we look at the, I just briefly want to talk about what the average rank was as well with these guys. I mean, 84.3. Now, there are two players in there, Michael Hughes, Jack Proctor. Jack Proctor, I know for certain, was a walk-on. Not positive about Michael Hughes. Them not being applicable was not counted on this recruit grade. So it's only off of the remaining 7. So just keep that in mind. But I do think now, if they were to hit the portal, they would have a steady, solid grade. With that, I think we move in kind of to the transfer ins, and we look at just that stat total. Paul Hudson led all the newcomers, at least coming in this season, in sacks, as well as sack yards and solos. I mean, out of everyone I kind of look into on this transfer in, I've been beating the drum for probably 3 episodes now, but
Yeah.
I think Paul Hudson is that guy who's going to play inside, outside, and he's just going to be dominant. And he is the reason why I have that interception column. I went back, tried to watch some game film. I don't have a quite cut up of it, but I mean, he had a 46-yard or 49-yard interception return for a touchdown on the defensive line against Louisiana.
Okay.
That's something you don't see or get from defensive linemen. So if that's another area that we can get from a guy who can play inside and outside, huge. And then Linus Zunk, DJ Warner, kind of those main players is I really just wanted to put it in perspective on what we see on a sheet for what we are bringing in. And then the last 3 columns are pretty much our totals. Transfers in was 10. Current defensive lineman for the season is 19. Those we lost was 10. And then the numbers are a little different and they are skewed. And I was talking with Gavin a little bit about this beforehand, and I think you and I are in agreement on this. Don't look at the numbers on face value for transfers in. Yes, they have some weight. Yes, they kind of foreshadow. They don't mean anything. In my opinion, they don't mean anything because you're losing 3 every down starters on that defensive line. Yes, they rotated. Jimmy had a way of doing it, but they were 3 down starters is what they were. So the sack totals are a little different from the guys coming in as well as returners. It's about a 7 sack difference. Again, you can make that up. You get Linus Zunk coming from the SEC. You get Etowah coming from Arizona, who's going to make a difference that direction, being at a bigger school, playing different competition. Same thing with DJ Warner. And let's see.
I wanted to talk about DJ Warner too, because yes, we're seeing these numbers right here. He was an 85 coming out of the transfer portal from SMU. I got his 247 page up, and when out of high school, this kid was a 96. I mean, he was super close to being a 5-star. So I just wanted to at least point that out. Not that it's the end all be all, but we usually, as Wazoo fans, we don't get a lot of players like that. So I wanted to point that out and just say, hey, like DJ Warner is someone to circle, keep your eye around. I mean, this whole defensive line is impressive, and it's why we wanted to break it down. It's why we wanted to talk about it. And even further after this, I know Joel, who played defensive line at Charleston Southern once upon a time, he's going to give his insight into their game film and just, as a former player and just kind of on the coaching side and the technical aspect of everything, he's going to put together a video and talk about it a little bit more in depth and what he sees and what he's going to, what he expects these players to be in this new defense. So pay attention. That should be coming out within the next week or so. He's putting all the pieces together on that. But yeah, Austin, have at it again.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the pieces. I mean, and you're really kind of circling back, still keeping with DJ Warner. He is a bona fide closest, I think, blue chip prospect that's really came into Wazoo. You think of some of the big names, like Drew Bledsoe. He was in a blue chip. You know, he was a kid out of Ellensburg.
Yeah, I think Michael Bumpus and Gabe Marks are two of the top per 247 ratings.
Right.
I think they were two of the top, and they were four stars. I think Gabe Marks was like a 91, 92, somewhere along those lines. Maybe even higher than that. And then Michael Bumpus was like a 93, 94. And besides that, we don't have too many of those names coming in.
No, we see them come out.
Yeah, we see them come out. Yeah,
as much as that sucks to say, but we do see them come out.
Yeah, Cam Ward, John Mateer, all the yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but Barstool Wazoo posted a deal today on a tier list, and it was, "We still root for you, but why did you have to leave?" And it's just a picture of Cam Ward and John Mateer.
Yeah, sad but true.
It's fair. And then starting in order, I'm going to run down these names. If any of you guys are watching, I'm sorry. I don't know.
We apologize for the way that we pronounce names. We do try our best, and we're going to learn them as next season comes.
Yeah. As I hear Ryan Leaf call it about 7-8 times on the CW, then it'll become ingrained. But I'm going to start with Jira. Again, sorry. Eastern Washington boy, played out of Cheney. His redshirt sophomore season was last year. He appeared in all 12 games. And then his total tackles, I guess I missed. Well, I didn't put a total tackle deal on there, but he had 24 total. He had 5 solos, as well as 19 assists. He did record a tackle for loss. He had a fumble recovery and a pass breakup. Defensive tackle, pass breakup.
And he does seem like looking at his size, he looks like he could plug the gap, and that's his role, especially when you have this many guys. Hey man, we know it's third and short. We need you to plug the gap. So it looks like that could be his call. That could be his call in this defense here.
And he's got a lot of awareness to say, hey, he knows if he's got a pass breakup, he's obviously trying to get his hands up and disengage from the offensive lineman in order to disrupt anything going over his way, or a ball over the line of scrimmage for a check down, something of that nature, which is huge. Sione Passe.
Sione Pazzi, baby. Sione Pazzi. I got you on that one because I do have a friend named Sione.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, got some experience. Montana Western kid.
And Montana Western, not a bad NAI, I might add. Between College of Idaho, Montana Western, there's a couple other NAIs. Montana Tech, I know is another pretty solid one. Arizona Christian's not terrible. Ottawa University, Arizona is not terrible. Montana Western, they got some dudes.
And they play ball. There's a couple kids here in just outside of 9 Mile that went to Deer Park that all traveled over there to Montana Western and made decent college careers for themselves. But he appeared in all 10 games for Western this year, posted 26 totals, 5 solo, and 1.5 tackles for loss. A 3-year varsity athlete when he was in high school. Not much you can really ask for to extend from him. He's got that work ethic. He's going to go in. A 5'11", 270-pound defensive tackle. I'd almost like to see a little bit of weight on him at 270 playing that inside zone, but I think he's going to be just fine making that jump. I don't know if we're necessarily going to see him this year because it looks like he's going to be going into his sophomore season. He is eligible for a red shirt with only those 10 games. Even though the NCAA switched to that 9-game redshirt season this year, but saw there for him.
There's a chance that he is superb depth, and then by next year he could actually take off and be something. It's just this. It has nothing to do with how good or bad this young man is. It's just looking at all these other names coming in. and also all the names that are returning. Being depth on this team, being depth on this defensive line is actually a huge, huge plus and a positive. And then by next year, he takes off and maybe he has a little bit bigger of a role. But I mean, Sione Paze, big ceiling on this guy. I'm in agreement with you too, man. He's got a big ceiling and a lot to like about him.
I'm just excited to see too. I mean, you get Trent Bray going back to his comfort zone. He's gonna be able to call defense. I know there was a lot of rumors there that last year that he's put in a bad situation. He didn't want to do the recruiting portion for Oregon State. But now he gets to do his thing with all these weapons he's got, especially on the D line. We're seeing it with the Seahawks. You have those dominant edge rushers, defensive tackles, and you move them around. The sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. And I do think, call it now. That way, if I'm wrong, which I don't think anyone who's watching this is going to say that I'm wrong, but that has the making for a Pac-12 championship.
Yes.
Calling it
that
now.
Has, yeah. And we'll, I'm usually a pessimist when it comes to stuff like that, but Kirby Moore and company, and granted, we haven't even seen a single game from Kirby Moore. We have no idea how he coaches, if he's good or if he's bad, but the way he's handled this offseason, the way that he's gotten what he needs to get to have a successful team, and the way that he has brought in Trent Bray to delegate something that some coaches won't. Some coaches will not delegate. And we kind of saw a little bit of that with Jimmy Rogers and Danny Freund. It looks like Jimmy Rogers was kind of hindering Danny Freund from doing a lot of offensive play calling. You saw almost every single time they got the ball, the first play was a run play. And every defense knew exactly what was coming. And that's why the run game never really got open. Angel Johnson definitely had his own struggles with that end, and you kind of set him up for failure. And we definitely talked about that in some of our previous episodes. There was a way to use Angel Johnson and him be successful, and they didn't do it. And I think that's more on the coaching, not on Angel Johnson, because we see how athletic that young man is. Very excited for the next step in his career, whatever it may be. But I guess back to the topic at hand, we're excited to see Trent Bray just take over on defense. We're excited to see Kirby Moore call the offense and just, hey, we got two pretty much head coaches kind of going at it. Obviously, you got one that is the head coach that makes the final call on everything. But yeah, we get to see Trent Bray back in his playbook, and this is what we're starting the season off with.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the reason why we've been so heavily focused on the defense is it doesn't matter what they change on the offense; it's going to be better than last year. I hate to say that. It's going to be better than
that's
it was
the truth.
last year. And then, not to get sidetracked, I'll get into line of the zunk here in a minute, but the Danny Freund deal, I mean, I'm sure you probably saw my post on Instagram. I mean, the comparisons and the averages with Jimmy Rogers, even when he was at South Dakota State, to Freund at North Dakota, and then that bowl game, the numbers are crazy. It makes me wonder what Iowa State's in for next year with their offensive coordinator.
Well, and they might be in a little bit better situation, and maybe they're in a situation where, and I don't want to get too off topic with talking about Iowa State and Jimmy Rogers, but he went and got a next level guy with role, being the tight ends coach for the Tigers. I'm talking baseball here, for Detroit Lions. Oh, okay. My camera just decided to say goodbye. My camera is awesome, but it does some weird stuff sometimes. So, you know what? This is a podcast. It's we have fun here. But he comes from the Detroit Lions. He worked with Sam Laporta. He's worked with some big names in the past. I think he was with Hawkinson as well. But yeah, I think he might have more delegation there. I'm very excited to see what Danny Freund's going to do with North Dakota, and I think he got one of our freshman wide receivers to go with him. So I'm really excited to see what Danny Freund does over there.
Me too. Into Linus Zunk, the edge defender from Berlin. As a junior, he was a SEC fall academic honor roll. Not worried about that guy being a nuisance in the locker room or in the classroom. Sounds like, yeah, I'll keep that thought to myself. Played in all 13 games while making his first career start at Georgia State. Finished the year with 16 tackles and had a career best 5 tackles versus South Carolina. Career best against South Carolina. I like to hear that. I like to not saying that the Pac-12 is down to lesser competition, but it's South Carolina. It's the SEC. And then we all know what kind of Cinderella run it looked like Vandy was going to go on this year. So to get somebody like that, who the fans are genuinely upset to see leave, leads me to believe that it's going to be an incredible acquisition for us. And the highest transfer grade for us coming in, that grade, for those of you guys who might remember looking at it, that's the same grade coming in that we lost with Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell was an 87.
Yeah. Worth noting, and also just you got to be super pumped that I think they were like 2 days apart. I think we lost Bobby Terrell, and then like within the next day or two we got Linus Sunk. It was like very close, very back to back. In fact, I can't remember if it was vice versa from that too. It was like in goes one, out goes the other, and we're like, all right, here we are. Very excited for Linus Sunk.
Yeah, and it was one of those too where it didn't. Yeah, it stunk, and I'll never be the one to hop on players and chew them out or be one of those ex-Warriors. They're college kids trying to find their way and do what's best for themselves. But it did soothe the pain getting Linus when we lost Bobby.
It made the future still bright.
Yes. Yeah. Ike Okafor, defensive tackle out of Lagos, Nigeria. He had. Now the stats and pieces I have for him, because he did not record any stacks at Cal. 30 tackles, 18 solos, 5 tackles for a loss as a senior in 24. Out of 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery.
You're gonna love this too, Austin. If I interject for just a second, Ike, if you're listening, because I know you follow us on social media, if you happen to listen to this, just know weeks, months before you have become a Coug, I actually on NCAA the football game, you entered the portal in there as well, my man, and I picked you up on Wazoo, and we're in your senior year right now, and you've had 12.5 sacks, you've had 15.5 sacks, and you're at 17.5 sacks right now as I'm going into the postseason. So just so you know, as a Coug, you killed it, and I don't have it on easy setting, just so we're clear. But yes, Ike Okafor as a Coug absolutely dominates. We already seen it. It's on the video game. We know it's real.
Yeah, you're getting him up to a 95, getting drafted in the first round.
He's gone.
He's gone. DeMarge Lewis. Again, sorry if I shank it. I hope I didn't. But defensive tackle, formerly of Georgia, or not Georgia, pardon me, Purdue in Indiana. Last year at Purdue. 24 at Purdue.
Yeah, 2024 at Purdue, and then he spent 2025 at SMU. He came along with DJ Warner.
That's right. He at Purdue, 14 tackles, 7 solos, 3 TFLs in 5 games. Purdue Big Ten competition. You know, he's getting reps all the way around, and he's not playing slouches. You know, they're in the same conference with Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Oregon. Huge class that he's got there. And then we'll get into Paul Hudson. I did that player profile on him. A lot of people already kind of know his ordeal, and I already kind of spilled most of it. But I mean, Norfolk, Virginia, that pick 6. He was at Campbell and Austin Peay. I did get it wrong in my player profile. So Paul,
Austin Peay,
if you're seeing this, I got it wrong. You were not a JUCO boy. I realize that.
Hey, shout out to him and his dad too. I know they awesome family. Thank you so much for being Cougs. We are so excited for the Hudson family to be Cougs now. They've just been tremendous. Yeah. They've been tremendous to our podcast. They've been tremendous with Austin. So thank you so much for being Cougs. We're excited.
Yeah. P3 wearing number 3. Love to see it.
Love it.
Etowah Okundaye.
Okundaye. I think it's Etowah Okundaye. And again, apologies
too. I'm like, oh man, I should have done some pronunciation classes of some kind. Out of Katy, Texas. They know football in Texas,
especially Katy.
Oh man, Katy alone.
Katy's it's a pretty good spot.
Yeah. Out of high school, 3-star prospect, played edge at Tompkins High School in Katy. He was rated the number 90 edge and number 90 or 191 player in Texas. He held offers from Houston, Kansas State, Sam Houston State, San Diego State, Texas State, Tulane, and Washington State.
Boom.
So he already had that familiarity. Obviously leaving Arizona, but kind of cool to see a guy like that already have offers from here and then come here
just
at some point. Better late than never.
Well, and just to tap in, I think Kirby Moore has won a lot of battles with other big schools. I think DJ Warner had at least a handful of big schools on him. I know Tank Hawkins had a handful of big schools on him. Kirby Moore and company has just been going at it. By the way, let us know your thoughts in the comments about this D line. There's obviously more to come. We're going to be breaking down the because now that the transfer portal is kind of winding down, it's officially closed. However, players are still in it, so they could still go and visit. And realistically, I don't think they can do spring ball at this point in time. I think Monday was kind of that cutoff. I think Austin, I think you mentioned it listening to Canzano. I think you said Monday was kind of that cutoff day for getting in for spring classes, which would mean you're eligible for spring ball. So right now you're probably looking at, yes, they can commit and maybe even come out to Wazoo, and hopefully they can do some online classes if they're academically inclined. As we've seen from Carson Beck, there was no academic inclination. He's already graduated. So some players kind of navigated a little bit differently, but to be eligible, you have to at least have 12 credits. So very interesting to see how the transfer portal kind of winds up from here. There's still thousands of kids still in the portal, but we're definitely going to be breaking down some more high school players. I'm going to try and reach out to as many high school coaches and just see who's still available and talk about these kids. We'll talk about it as we do every episode. Sean Griffith needs to be a Coug. I hope this gets back to Kirby and company. And I know they're doing their roundabouts right now. Please tap on Sumner High School. That coach does a phenomenal job. We need some more Sumner kids. Now that we have Lance McGee, we have Kyle Martin, the center. We need some more Sumner boys. And I know there's some Puyallup kids that are also there. And Sumner boys, I know you probably it's probably a heated rivalry between them, but they got some dudes too. I think Jaden Woodland might still be available if I'm not mistaken. But Sean Griffith is he needs to be a Coug. As we're talking about defensive linemen right now, that kid as a freshman could compete with some of these guys that we're talking about. Just wanted to give a heads up.
And it has to be a Coug. Another one too, if he is watching this and paying attention. I know his dad was paying attention to us last time, but he's a good kid. Good young man, very active on our stuff. And I know seeing the way he kind of reacts online, I know he wants to be a Coug. There's no doubt in my mind.
He looks like a beast, man. We need him. We need him.
We do.
If there's a roster spot, he needs to have it.
He does. I concur. Matthias McLean, going into him. I got to watch him play this year. Not in the capacity that I wanted to. Watching him strip Angel Johnson in the opening game. But there's that memory. He lives infamously in that game alone. He had a career high this year: 7 tackles, 3 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, and most of that came from St. Thomas on September 6th. He was 2025 honorable all conference defense for the Big Sky. Huge. A lot of people think, myself included, that the Big Sky is the dominant conference in the FCS. You can argue.
I'm still lobbying.
Yeah,
I'm still lobbying for the Dakotas because I think they're in. Is it the Pioneer or Frontier Conference? I can't remember exactly what conference they're in.
Isn't it Mississippi Valley?
I see. I thought it was that, but I thought I saw something about it being another one. Maybe it's one for baseball and one for football, and I'm mixing the two. But I would love to add them in. I mean, Montana is close. They call it the Mondax for a reason. You're right there next to the Dakotas. Just add South Dakota, North Dakota State, South Dakota. Just add them in and make it the most dominant FCS conference to ever exist.
Oh man, those games already draw so much, and then you get the Montana State and Montana rivalry, and I digress. But I agree with you. There is no better conference in the FCS to watch than that Big Sky.
No doubt.
No better conference. Let's see. Oh, and then
Matthias
the last
McLean,
thing,
yeah.
last thing I want to touch on with him, Priest River kid. I love Priest River. I don't know if you've ever been up to Priest River. Quaint little Idaho town that loves football and loves being in the outdoors. So that always holds a special place in my heart because
He sounds like Pullman already. I love it.
Yeah, he didn't really move far.
I stayed on the Palouse.
That's it. DJ Warner, formerly also before he was at SMU, he was at Kansas. Out of Phoenix. Played
Right
in
down
12
here
games.
in this area.
Yeah, played in 12 games as a freshman at Kansas. Recorded a solo tackle against Iowa State and assisted on a tackle against Illinois. So again, hasn't really seen a whole lot of time. This year, he had the 2 sacks, 11 sack yards, 2 solos. He was rated a 4-star by Rivals and 24 Sports, and he had a rating of 5.8 from Rivals, which ranked him as the number 12 prospect in Arizona and the number 12 or 19 defensive end in the country. Another one. I mean, he's on that same level that we were talking about with, who was it earlier?
Yeah, with Linus Zunk. He's,
yeah.
I got him. And as we're getting through these names, I got him and Linus Zunk on that first line. Like we talked about, it might be a hockey rotation set of lines. On that first line, you're looking at Linus Zunk and potentially DJ Warner setting the edge. And then from there, you're looking at maybe Ike Okafor and DeMarge Lewis or Caden Beatty probably in that first line in the middle. If they end up going to 3 set, obviously it could be a little bit different than that. But if you're going 4 in the front, I mean those are the 4 I'd be going for on the first one, with Paul Hudson being right behind and just rotating these guys in. My goodness, this team is this is why we're talking about them.
And you essentially could have, 2, if not 3, starting 4 and put them anywhere else in the country. And that's our rotation. That's insane. It's unheard of.
Now, it does take a little bit of an ego check to not be on the first line, but as long as you can get that buy-in, I think you're gonna run circles around not only the new Pac-12, which consists of mostly Mountain West football teams and one Sun Belt team in Texas State. I think you'll run circles around them, but I think you start jumping up and making UW look a little silly. And maybe I'll eat my words, but anytime I have the chance to talk about Wazoo beating UW, I'm going to take that chance. This team right now and this defensive line is absolutely incredible right now.
Yeah. And then the last one really I wanted to touch on, Balam Miller, 3'11", 6'4", big boy playing defensive tackle out of Buffalo. Looks like he'll be a redshirt junior. Not quite sure if any of the eligibility stuff will hit him, but out of high school, ironically enough, he went to St. Francis High School in Buffalo, New York. Recorded 110 tackles, 6 sacks, and he was an all-Western New York State selection and a district champ. All these pieces on the defensive line are incredible. That's
St. Francis. That's the other thing is St. Francis University. Not only did he go to St. Francis High School, he went to St. Francis University. And if you haven't heard of it, they're a smaller FCS program. When you first look at them, you're like, oh, it's a D3. Well, actually, no, they're actually an FCS program. And over the year, they played UL Monroe. They played Buffalo, Central Connecticut State, which they're also D1. Some people don't know that. Delaware State, D1. Bucknell, Duquesne, who we are actually going to be playing this upcoming year. Robert Morris, another Pittsburgh school. Wagner and Stonehill, which Stonehill was D3, I think they were D2 not too long ago and just made the jump up to D1. So just wanted to give that a call out because some people didn't know St. Francis and where they're at and basically who they are.
Yeah. With that, I don't know how much you really want to get into the transfer portal stuff, but I kind of just wanted to touch briefly while we've got a second. As we kind of talk, and I don't suspect that we're going to be done with adding transfers, but I think that the overall amount and quantity is going to dwindle. I think now, like we're talking, I think a lot of it's going to fall back into high school kids, who's going to be eligible, and then who's willing to walk on. But as we look at 24/7, since I already pulled most of my stuff from 24/7, I like to keep it consistent. With our commits, we're still number 1 in the Pac-12 in the transfer portal.
I'm loving it.
National still lead the Pac-12. But like we were talking last time, high school rankings, we've got to see an increase, I think, and get a. I mean,
Did we lose
I don't
him?
care about being.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well, we lost Austin for a moment. Looks like internet may be an issue over there, but yeah, this as he was kind of talking about this transfer portal, you gotta love it. And right now, just to take a little bit of a break, well, not a break, but just a sidebar, I guess is the best way to put it. If you haven't joined the 1890 Club, Chad's not here today, but he's here right now. I want you for 1890 Club. Get on in there. And because we miss him so much, Kyle Knowles. If you didn't know, now you know. This is the many faces of Kyle. Kyle is our beloved friend and everything. And then also here is the 1890 Club official. If you want to join, if you haven't joined, the other thing that you need to know about the 1890 Club is you don't have to join exactly the 1890 Club. You can reach out to them and donate whatever you can. If it's $5, it's $5. Anything helps. So, definitely do that. Definitely join if you can. And yeah, just, whatever you can make happen. That's what it's all about, is helping the Cougs out however you can. And we got Austin back. And the internet strikes again. It happens to the best of us. It's definitely happened to me before. And that's why we are professionally unprofessional here.
If you guys see an X post from me to Elon, it's to blame Starlink. It's to blame Starlink.
But you were mentioning the transfer portal, how it's we're wrapping up and how it's not quite done. Did you have any final thoughts on that part there?
Gosh darn it.
Oh, he's we can hear you.
Gosh darn it. Well, at least you can hear me. Okay. Goodness gracious.
Okay, we got you. So to wrap things up here, thank you so much for joining in. And honestly, like I said before, we're going to have more of this. So we talked about that defensive line and how good it was. Joel is going to do a breakdown here coming up within the week. He's going to start breaking down some of these guys' film, talking about technically and just coming from a former player's perspective. And Joel is as big as some of these guys still at, I mean, him and I are both in our 30s, and my goodness, he is also just as big as some of these guys. So him to kind of pinpoint some of these guys in their film, you're going to want to check in on that video and everything. But for Up West Sports, I'm Gavin Height. Just remember, life's too short. Gas up your boys.
If you're interested in being great, you better look hard into Washington State. You want to be great? Go to Washington State, baby.